Okay, this video is super interesting. Like recently we got this comment and this is very genuine. Since the Flipkart sale is near, the iPhone 16 would be selling under 50,000. And a lot of people will be thinking about switching to an iPhone for the first time. Especially Android users who have never used an iPhone will be thinking of switching to an iPhone. Now with the launch of the brand new iPhone 17, what exactly to buy? Well, we'll make a video on that. 10,000 likes, we drop it ASAP. But before we go ahead and get that shiny new 60Hz iPhone 16 from Flipkart, hold on. So let's compare and see what you get on Android side for the same price. See, at the same price, we have exactly iQOO 13, which costs $59.90. And if you spend a bit more, you also have OnePlus 13. But I would recommend skip this OnePlus Flagship for 65,000 because the next OnePlus 15 is rumored to bring the best camera changes. And that is one thing, teeny tiny thing, which OnePlus is lacking for years. So 50,000 rupees iPhone versus similarly priced Android Flagship. Now you might be thinking, of course, iQOO 13 is better than the iPhone 16. Well, even we thought so. And we compared both of them, clicked hundreds of pictures, played games on them. And the result is surprising, even we didn't expect. Wait for it, Pratik, TechWiser, let's effing go. Now, of course, both of these phones are flagship, so at this price point, someone should hardly be worried about the build quality. Both phones feel very solid in hands. You get this frosted glass back on both the phones with metal frames, so there's hardly any fingerprint mark that you see. During our usage, it has suffered multiple accidental drops, but still, both the phones are as good as new. On the front, iPhone 16 uses Apple's ceramic shield, while the iQOO 13 goes with Shot Sensation Alpha. And again, both the phones have zero scratches, so durability wise, so far it is sorted. But just like Taylor Swift broke a lot of Swiftie hearts, the back glass of these phones too can break, or the display. I know a lot of people are buying phones or iPhone in discount without any idea of the repair cost. So if you compare the repair cost of front and back glass, iQOO is way cheaper compared to the iPhone 16. Like if anything happens to this phone, officially, just the repair of the display could cost you 25,500 rupees. And that's like 50% for the price of the iPhone. Shocking, right? Well, because you are buying the iPhone 16 at 50,000, this doesn't mean the actual cost of the iPhone is 50,000. It's still 80,000 and repair costs of Apple are always on the higher side. And apart from that, both phones throw in some fun extras. On iPhone 16, you get the legendary camera control button, which, let's be honest, the only time I press it is to open the camera app. That's it. So let's just ignore it like Apple ignored it in the iPhone 17 launch. There's also an action button which you can use it to set different shortcuts. On the iQOO 13 though, you get this dynamic light. You can set different colors for app notifications. Like my phone stays on mute most of the time in the office and I have just set up Slack for work. That way I don't miss any important notification. So whenever I get a Slack notification, there is a ring light. And not just that, this also works for call. Even you can assign unique colors for different contacts. And wait for it. Cool party trick. So again, both phones feel premium in the hand, but iQOO 13 takes the lead for those practical extras and, of course, the cheaper repair cost. But the real difference starts to show when you hold the phones. The iPhone feels cute and compact, while the iQOO feels big and also quite heavy. And one advantage of that big size is you get a big display. The iQOO 13 comes with a bigger screen and a higher 2K resolution, but when you keep both the phones side by side, the difference in color, sharpness or text are very minimal. Even in terms of brightness, both phones are pretty bright outdoors, but once you start using the phone, this is where iQOO 13 really pulls ahead with that 144Hz refresh rate, and no matter how much Apple increases the animation speed with updates, a 60Hz panel will always feel slow in front of 144Hz. Also, watching the content on a bigger screen is always much better experience. Like I usually have the habit of watching content while eating, and compared to iPhone, the bigger display on the iQOO feels more immersive. Also, one thing which most major brands ignore like Samsung, Apple and Google, iQOO has higher PWM dimming. And again, if you compare with iPhone, you can clearly see the differences day and night. Also, the iQOO 13 comes with an LTPO display which switches between 1Hz to 120Hz, which helps to save battery. So overall, in terms of display experience, this is like a one-side beating. The iQOO 13 clearly takes the lead. And again, the same goes for battery. The iQOO 13 has a much bigger 6000 mAh battery than iPhone and there is no competition. Like on a normal usage, iQOO 13 can last 1.5 to even 2 days. Even on days where I was gaming for more than an hour, it would still easily last me one single day. While the iPhone 16, no matter what, you will have to charge your phone every day. And in terms of charging, you don't get a charger inside the box with the iPhone 16. And it takes around an hour to charge the phone from 5 to 100%. While iQOO 13 comes with a 120 watt charger inside the box and it can charge the phone in around 45 minutes flat. And now coming to the most interesting part, performance. The iQOO 13 comes with Snapdragon 8 Elite, while the iPhone 16 packs Apple's A18 chip, and in benchmarks, it gets pretty close to the iPhone. Now iQOO also uses an extra chip, which iQOO likes to call it supercomputing Q2 chip, and it is specifically a display chip which is meant to power the display and generates extra frames while you're gaming, and precisely that is the reason why iQOO phones score much higher than any other 8 Elite phones in AnTuTu. But let's be real, you don't buy a phone just to run benchmarks. You'll be using these devices for 3 to 4 years, so the real question is, how do they perform in real life? So we tried pushing both the phones to their limit. We first played Wuthering Waves on both the phones. We also tried playing another heavier game like Car X Street. Now in all the tests, iQOO remained relatively cool because first, it's a big phone, and second, you get better heat dissipation. You get a vapor cooling chamber which is spread across 7000 mm square, and according to Apple, a vapor cooling chamber is a pro feature which they have finally given in iPhone 17 Pro. Also, you get a ton of gaming features with iQOO like frame interpolation, motion control, and even bypass charging. And not many people talk about this. The iPhone gets severely hot while using maps or directions outside, or just generally, to the point that sometimes you are not able to even charge the iPhone, and at times the display brightness gets so dim that you cannot even use it outside. And I couldn't imagine saying this 3-4 years ago, but overall, in terms of performance and features, Android is far better. Like iQOO 13 gets the point. And again, so far it feels like the iQOO 13 is just dominating, but software-wise, that's where things flip. Like the iQOO 13 runs on FunTouchOS 15, the experience is decent, the animations are smooth, and the whole UI feels snappy. And you also get some AI features like AI Erase, AI Call Transcribe, AI Call Translation, pretty good. But the iPhone with iOS 26 is playing in a whole another league. Like it launched and the early beta versions of iOS 26 had its own share of problems, but now with updates, Apple has not only fixed it, they have also made a few things even better. Like the animations are faster and smoother, you get this bouncy feel throughout the UI, unlocking the phone, opening control center, or even just launching an app. Like it just feels more fun to use, which is strange for iPhone. And if you look closely, the icons react to the light as you move the phone, tiny details, but they add up. And again, you do get some useful AI features, basically circle to search, which is Apple's version. There's also this image playground, so you can create your custom emojis or generate images. Again, it's not perfect. Like AI Erase is nowhere closer to what you get on Android. And Apple Intelligence, let's not talk about that. But where the iPhone really nails is the ecosystem features. Like you can use your iPhone as a webcam, you can directly take calls on your Mac, like I can just go on and on with the list. So if I have to summarize, I'll give the point to iPhone. I know it lacks AI features, which I personally love, but I know it's still not what most people would use. However, many people will still use and appreciate the ecosystem features like AirDrop, Handoff, way more. And at last, we have the cameras. And again, iQOO has better hardware. It gets a 50 megapixel triple camera setup, which includes a dedicated 2x telephoto camera, whereas the iPhone 16 only has a main and an ultra wide angle camera. Like right off the bat, iQOO takes more vibrant shots, while iPhone keeps the color natural, both in terms of main as well as ultra wide angle camera. Now, surprisingly, during harsh lighting conditions, iQOO had better dynamic range and clarity. Even in zoom shots, since iQOO has a dedicated 2x telephoto camera, it takes more detailed zoom photos. Like this was not surprising. Even at long range 10x zoom shots, iQOO uses AI and clearly takes better detailed photos. But having said all of that, if you just have to take the phone and point at something and take photos, overall, iPhone takes the better pictures. The colors and skin tones just look better on the iPhone. Even in videos, if you see, the iPhone 16 could maintain the exposure evenly. The colors are much better. Whereas with iQOO, if you see, it does that exposure stepping. By the way, this video was shot in 4K 30 FPS. And for some reason, iPhone has micro jitters while walking. Now, in terms of selfies, the details are more or less the same. But again, iQOO takes more vibrant pictures. And both of these phones can do selfie videos at 4K 60 FPS. Now, we have been using both the phones for a long time. If you want a phone to take photos, do videos, and you want to do content creation, make reels and shorts, I would say iPhone is the better deal. However, if you're someone who rarely takes photos and just posts it on social media, iQOO is more social media ready photos. So I'll give half a point to iQOO for better selfies and better long range zoom shots, telephotos. But overall, 1 point to the iPhone for the better camera. So what's the final verdict? See, this has been the story of 2025. Android flagships like iQOO 13 dominate on raw hardware, bigger display, bigger battery, faster charging, better gaming features, and even cheaper repair costs. If you want sheer value for money, iQOO 13 at around 50,000 with offers is just unbeatable. But if you're someone who always wanted Apple, or you're already into that Apple ecosystem, go with iPhone 16. And if somehow you're not able to grab that iPhone 16 at 50,000 and you are paying around 65,000 for the iPhone 16, I would say skip it, get the iPhone 17 at 80,000. That is much more improved than iPhone 16 and would be worth the money. On that note, this is signing off. See you in the next video. Pew, pew, pew.